Hello, dear friends. Today we continue to play Plants vs. Zombies. We will be going through more difficult levels. We will soon get to the night.
Let's not hesitate and get started.
We are acting according to our proven strategy. First, we plant 2 rows of sunflowers.
Do not forget to kill the first zombie with a mine. Then we gain as much time as possible, which will help us plant 2 rows of sunflowers.
We will leave the 3rd row for the ice pea shooters. We will plant the rest of the ranks with ordinary green warriors. The tactics are as simple as a leaky eye Ragatha.
We need to be a little wary, because we have a zombie with a bucket on his head. In general, it's not particularly scary, because we took a flycatcher.
All right, folks, let's talk about the powerhouse of Plants vs. Zombies, the undisputed champ among plants. Any guesses?
It has to be the winter melon. I mean, that thing is a game changer. Slows down zombies and deals splash damage. What's not to love?
Winter melon, huh? Sounds intriguing. What makes it so formidable?
Well, Ragatha, it's like the upgraded version of the regular melon pult. The winter melon not only deals more damage, but also has this chilling effect on zombies. Slows them down to a crawl, giving your other plants more time to do their thing.
And that splash damage is no joke. It can hit multiple zombies in one shot, making it incredibly effective against those dense zombie crowds.
I remember using it in the rooftop levels. When the zombies started piling up, the winter melon was my go-to plant to keep them at bay.
So, it sounds like a crowd control expert. What other plants do you guys find to be particularly strong?
The cob cannon is another heavy hitter. It's like the ultimate artillery. You need to combine 2 kernel pults to create it, and when it fires, it obliterates a whole row of zombies. It's the big gun you bring out for those tough waves.
Absolutely. The cob cannon is a game changer. The recharge time is a bit slow, but when it hits, it's a zombie apocalypse fireworks show.
And don't forget about the Gatling pea. It's like the Rambo of pea shooters. Rapid fire, dealing damage like there's no tomorrow. Put a couple of those in the right spot, and you've got a solid defense.
It seems like there's a progression from basic defensive plants to these heavy-duty ones. How do you decide when to bring out the big guns?
That's a good question. In the early levels, you want to focus on building a solid foundation with your basic plants, pea shooters, sunflowers, walnuts. But as the waves get tougher, that's when you start introducing the heavy hitters.
Exactly. You need to gauge the strength of the incoming zombie waves. If you're dealing with basic zombies, the regular shooters might suffice. But when you see those football zombies, or the ones in metal buckets, that's when you bring out the heavy artillery.
And sometimes it's all about adapting on the fly. If you notice a particular lane getting overrun, that's when you unleash the cob cannons or winter melons to turn the tide.
Are there specific levels where these powerhouse plants shine the most?
Oh, absolutely. In the survival levels, especially the endless ones, you'll be grateful for every cob cannon and winter melon you have. Those levels throw everything at you, and you need the big guns to survive the onslaught.
And in the Last Stand minigames, where you have a limited set of sun points to spend, choosing the right heavy hitters can make or break your defense.
Also the roof levels where you're dealing with flying zombies and limited space. The cob cannon becomes a real lifesaver. It's like having your own personal zombie airstrike.
It sounds like there's a real art to mastering the balance between the basic plants and these heavy hitters.
Absolutely, it's all about synergy. The basic plants create a foundation and the heavy hitters come in to deal with the tougher threats. It's like building a team. Each plant has its role, and when they work together, it's a beautiful thing.
And experimentation is key. Try different combinations and see what works best for your playstyle. Some players swear by Gatling peas and cob cannons, while others prefer a mix of winter melons and defensive plants.
I remember experimenting with a strategy that focused on sun production early on, and then unleashing a barrage of cob cannons in the later waves. It was risky, but when it worked, it was glorious.
Any tips on where to place these heavy hitters for maximum impact?
Placement is crucial. For cob cannons, you want them in the back, where they have a clear line of sight to multiple lanes. And winter melons are great near the front, slowing down zombies as soon as they enter the battlefield.
Gatling peas work well on the front lines too, but you need to protect them with sturdy defensive plants like tall nuts or pumpkins. They might be tough, but they're not invincible.
And always keep an eye on your sun points. These heavy hitters can be expensive to deploy and maintain, so efficient sun production is key to keeping the onslaught at bay.
It sounds like a delicate dance of resource management and strategic placement.
That's a perfect way to put it. As you progress through the levels, you'll develop a sense of when to go all in with the heavy hitters and when to hold back and reinforce your defenses.
And don't be afraid to adapt. If a particular strategy isn't working, be willing to change it up. Plants vs. Zombies is all about learning from each attempt and refining your approach.
True. Some of my most successful strategies came from learning from failures. You figure out what went wrong, adjust your lineup, and go at it again.
I appreciate all these insights, guys. It sounds like there's a real depth to the strategy aspect of Plants vs. Zombies.
Absolutely. It's more than just planting pretty flowers. It's about creating a symphony of destruction with your plants.
And the satisfaction you get when you see a well-executed strategy decimate a horde of zombies is unbeatable.
So, Ragatha, when you dive into the game, don't be afraid to unleash the heavy hitters when the situation calls for it. It adds a whole new level of excitement to the game.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thanks for the advice, guys. I can't wait to assemble my zombie-fighting dream team.
All right, folks, we've covered the plant side of the equation. Now let's talk about the apex predator of the zombie world in Plants vs. Zombies. Any guesses on the most formidable zombie?
Gotta be the Gargantuar, hands down. That dude is a walking tank. Takes a ton of hits to bring him down, and when he gets close, it's game over if you're not prepared.
Gargantuar, huh? That sounds intimidating. What makes it so tough to deal with?
Well, Ragatha, picture a zombie the size of a house, wielding a telephone pole like a baseball bat. That's the Gargantuar. It can crush your plants in a single swing, and it takes a beating before going down.
And the worst part? Some of them carry imps on their backs. So even if you manage to take down the big guy, you still have a speedy little imp running amok.
I remember the first time I encountered a Gargantuar. I thought I had my defenses solid, and then this behemoth showed up, taking out everything in its path. It was a wake-up call.
So, it sounds like the Gargantuar is a game changer. What other zombies do you guys find particularly challenging?
The Jack-in-the-Box zombie is deceptively tricky. It moves fast, and when it reaches your plants, it explodes, taking out anything in its radius. It's like a kamikaze zombie, catches you off guard if you're not paying attention.
And let's not forget the balloon zombie. It floats over your defenses, avoiding most attacks, until it reaches your plants and drops a surprise on them. It's a real nuisance, especially in night levels.
Another tough one is the football zombie. He's fast, tough, and when he charges, your plants better be ready. It takes some serious firepower to bring him down.
It seems like there's a variety of challenging zombies. How do you approach dealing with them?
Well, Ragatha, that's where strategic plant placement comes into play. Certain plants are more effective against specific zombie types.
Exactly. For the Gargantuar, you'll want to have some heavy-hitting plants like the cactus or the squash. They can deal significant damage quickly.
And for the Jack-in-the-Box zombie, you'll need plants with a longer range, like the Snapdragon or the Three-Peater, to take it out before it gets too close.
Are there certain levels where these powerful zombies pose the most significant threat?
Oh, absolutely. In the survival levels, especially the endless ones, you'll face wave after wave of increasingly tough zombies. That's when the Gargantuars and other heavy hitters become a serious challenge.
And in the Vase Breaker minigames, where you're dealing with hidden zombies in vases, the surprise factor can catch you off guard, especially if a Gargantuar pops out unexpectedly.
Night levels can be tricky too. With the balloon zombies floating over your defenses, you need to plan for them specifically, or risk losing your plants to surprise attacks.
It sounds like adapting your strategy based on the zombie types is crucial.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of Plants vs. Zombies. It keeps you on your toes, forcing you to think on the fly and adjust your tactics to the ever-changing threats.
And sometimes, it's about having a contingency plan. When you see a Gargantuar approaching, you need to have a backup line of defense ready to go.
Exactly. It's all about having a diverse set of plants in your arsenal, each with its unique abilities to handle different zombie types.
Any specific plants you find particularly effective against these tough zombies?
The Cherry Bomb is a lifesaver when dealing with a group of tough zombies. It deals massive splash damage and can clear out a tough situation in an instant.
And the Cob Cannon is not just for show. When you're facing a Gargantuar or a group of powerful zombies, launching a corn cob at them can turn the tide.
For the balloon zombies, you'll need something with a high rate of fire like the Gatling P. It can take them down before they become a problem.
It sounds like choosing the right combination of offensive and defensive plants is crucial in facing these challenges.
Absolutely, it's about creating a balanced lineup that can handle a variety of threats. And don't forget about those instant-use plants like the jalapeno or the cherry bomb for emergencies.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Sometimes a seemingly unconventional plant can be surprisingly effective against certain tough zombies.
I remember discovering that the spikeweed is excellent against Gargantuars. It damages them as they walk over it, chipping away at their health.
It's fascinating to hear about the depth of strategy involved in countering these tough zombies. Any final tips for someone diving into the game?
Stay flexible, adapt to the situation, and don't be afraid to experiment with different plant combinations. Each level is a unique challenge, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
And enjoy the learning process. You'll face some tough losses, but each defeat is an opportunity to refine your strategy and come back stronger.
Oh, and keep an eye on the lawnmowers. They can be a lifesaver in dire situations, automatically taking out zombies in a lane when things get out of hand.
Thanks for all the insights, guys. I'm excited to take on the challenge and see how I can strategically face these formidable zombies.
So the final wave, and you can finish the video. After our defense, zombies simply have no chance. I already want levels with a pool, at least it's more difficult there.
I don't understand why they're even trying. They haven't realized yet that we're invincible. I would like to go through the whole game without one death. Let's see what happens.
The level is passed. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.